Hi, my name is Ariana Smile, and I will be making a series of videos that will help beginning artists or even advanced artists or anything tips and tricks on things and how to draw, so little details such as eyes, hands, face proportions, body proportions, things like that. I'll be drawing I'll be drawing on my iPad with the app Procreate. So, hope this helps. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. All right, so now I'm going to teach you basically how to draw hair, right? There's many different hairstyles. Hairstyle is very blah blah blah. Hair is also important because it shows personality because it represents your person, your character, whatever, or whatever you're drawing a lot better. You can also, hair is probably one of my most favorite things to draw, right? So obviously, ay Dios mío. Let me erase that. Okay. Obviously, I always start with the face. There's obviously no face there, but usually I draw the hair. Hair is usually one of the first things I draw. So let's get started. Let me get rid of this. If you want to learn the proportions of a face, I did another video about it. So if that's something you're struggling with, go check it out. Now, shut up, chair. Now, if you want to do like a fringe, usually sometimes I always like to go a bit, so like this, I always like to make a mark of where your part's going to be. If you want to have like curtains, I would like to make that really obvious, like say, let's try that again. Usually if you want a particular kind of part for your hair, like for example, say if you want a middle part, I would make it super duper obvious that there is a middle part. So I wouldn't like put a single strand here in the middle and then go over there. That kind of that's not as very clear as your middle part. But if you want to, I would make it so, for example, and for hair is very simple and fun because you can kind of just go wherever you want, so that's hair. And like, because I did it on this side doesn't mean I have to be, so I could do like two things here. And then if your person has a part, I would make sure you like emphasize that throughout the whole like top part of the hair, So and then that will be his nose and his eyebrows, blah, 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 blah. His face. Right, so that's a good part. So, blah, blah, blah. Again, ay, Dios mío, words today are just not my forte. Let me get I can't seem to win here. Lower that down. Again, I like to get rid of unnecessarily lines, so when I'm doing as I go, so then I don't get confused later on in the process, especially when I'm doing things like line art. But if you have a part, I would make it like super obvious, because it just doesn't have the same effect if you just do that, it's just, I always like to put a little line through it so then it acts, so it's a part, very similar to real life. Let me just tap all this out. Yep. Same rule applies for a side part. Side part. Thank you. For a side part. I would always start there and then just kind of, and then you kind of want to, So there you go. That's another. So if you have a part, just make sure it's really obvious about it. Now, if you have a fringe, I always like to claim the whole forehead as the fringe. Otherwise, it just looks weird if you have a little bit of fringe at the top. So, for example, if you want to add some varied, you can add like a part that's higher and then go back down. Right, and then, there's the lines, but that's later. That's when you're doing detail. All the examples that I've shown you kind of have this very, like, messy kind of hair, but you could also do, like, curls, like if you want to do that, and then there's different ways how to do hair, especially the ends. It just depends on what kind of hair you're trying to draw. If you're trying to do like 2 front pieces, I always like to exaggerate them just a little bit because, so it would be here, and then I don't like to do this because then that kind of makes it separate. I always like to add like a little piece, just so that it's still connected to the hair, but it's just that part is separate. And then I like to kind of mirror it. And then if you want to be a little extra, you could add like a little tiny bit of hair, depending on what kind of character you have. Ponytails from the front are a bit difficult as well. You know what? I'm just going to leave that there. So if you have a high ponytail, I always like to draw the hair tie. And then let's be real, right? As much as we all want to have this perfect, slick back, amazing kind of ponytail, it's just not going to happen for us. So to reflect that, I always do like a little... I always, just make it obvious that it's hair, because hair is not perfect. And I always like to... And then for hair, right, because it's the end part, I always do this part. And then if you want your hair to come out again, you can just... Just like that. Make sure you fix the bit on this side, so you want to just like kind of just to make it a bit more realistic, Right, and then I kind of boop. If you have a ponytail, usually you see like the top part and then like the inside is like obvious. Otherwise, it just, I don't know. It just doesn't look natural when you have that to me, like you don't really know where the hair is going. It's just kind of all bundled up. But unless you're doing that as a bun, right, like just a large bun, you could just put it on their head. And if you're doing half up, half down, then I'll put hair in the bottom. So I hope that video was helpful. When I'm making these videos, I'm not saying this is the absolute way you have to draw a certain thing. For example, like eyes. I'm not saying this is the only way to draw that. But I am saying it all blah blah blah. But it does depend that I'm using my own personal experience to help others, because I know when I was first drawing, I really struggled on how to draw like really simple things like that. Just it's a lot of technical things. But also it also depends on how what I'm teaching you works with your art style, because everyone has let's try that again. Everyone has a different art style, which is unique to them. So it's just the way if what I'm saying works with your art style. If it doesn't, then there's multiple other YouTube videos that will help you. But I hope this one gave you an idea. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.